Chemistry. We're on the Chapter 19 practice test. My first tip for you, I think, would be to make sure you have very carefully memorized all of the abbreviations for all of the items, which my director can probably get a zoom in on this maybe. And what I did on mine is, as soon as I got my paper and I was starting to do it, not from cheating, but from having them in my mind, I dumped them on my paper. So across the top of my paper, I listed alpha's abbreviation, beta's abbreviation, on down the line, positrons, neutrons, protons, electrons, deuterons, triton, the whole bit. So these are going to be the items that we're going to need from our mind to appear in these problems. Then it's just a matter of using a little bit of your periodic table and some adding and subtracting. So for number one, it says uranium 232. You would need to look up uranium on the periodic table and see that it's number 92 to have that number to work with. It's going to decay by alpha emission. So over on the right, we're going to do the abbreviation for alpha. And whether you put that first or second doesn't really matter. Adding in chemistry, like adding in math, you can add in any order. But alpha emission means the alpha particles on the right of the arrow in the adding world. Then we just need to make this add up right. So 2 plus 90 is the only way to get 92. For 4 to get up to 232, that's 228 more. And then use your periodic table to see what 90 is, and that'll be a TH for the number 90 element. 2 says cobalt 60, so we need to look up cobalt and see that's number 27. We have beta emission. Emission means go on the right of the arrow with a beta. Whether you put that first or second doesn't really matter. And then we'll just need this to make the math work. 0 plus 60 helps us get 60. Negative 1 with 28. 28 and negative 1 would get you to the 27. And then we'd use our periodic table. Number 28 is nickel. 3, we have oxygen 16 plus a neutron. So for a neutron, we grab that abbreviation. Then it talks about the formation of another element that we'll do math in a minute, and also an alpha. So we need an alpha over here on the right. Periodic table, oxygen is an 8. So 16 plus 1 is 17. For this side to equal 17, I need a 13 plus 4 to do my 17. For the lower number, 8 plus 0 is 8. For this to add up to 8, I need 2 and 6 to add up to 8. And number 6 on the table is a type of carbon. For 4, zinc is number 30 from the periodic table. Electron capture means that electron is on the left. So I'm going to do that on the left. On the right, I just need a new element. So I add up 65 and 0. I add up 30 and negative 1. And then I look at my periodic table, number 29 is carbon. For 5, I have 140, which if we use the periodic table, PR leads you to a 59. Positron emission means that's on the right, so we do the positron abbreviation. And then to make the math work out, 0 plus 140 makes 140. 1 plus 58 is the only way to get 59. 58's periodic table symbol is C. 6, we have beryllium, which is number 4. And then it says plus a proton. So on the left of the arrow, we'll do our proton abbreviation. We have another element plus an alpha. Alpha is 4,2 with helium. And then make the math add up. 9 plus 1 is 10. For this side to have 10, 4 plus 6 will do it. The lower numbers, 4 plus 1 is 5. To get 5 for the lower numbers here, it needs to be 2 plus 3. Number 3 leads you to lithium on the periodic table. 7 ES on the periodic table is 99. Plus an alpha, so I need to put an alpha on the left of the arrow. On the right of the arrow, we're going to get ourselves a neutron, so that's our abbreviation for a neutron. And to make the math add up, the top numbers add to 257. So I need 256 plus 1. The lower numbers add to 101. So this has to be 101 because it's plus 0. And then that's going to be MD, apparently the state of Maryland, who's put in an appearance. CD 113 gives you a 48 from the table. Neutrons abbreviation is that. We are going to get a new kind of cadmium and gamma. I didn't put gamma on my list over there on the left. Gamma, we just do that, and it has no numbers. So that symbol number-wise is meaningless. We just have to add these. 113 plus 1 is 114. 48 and 0 is still 48, still cadmium. For 9, we have lithium, which is number 3, plus a proton. That's our abbreviation for proton from our cheat sheet. We're going to release a neutron. So on the right of the arrow, we're going to do a neutron. And to make the math add up, that has 7 plus 1, so this better have 7 plus 1. The bottom has 3 plus 1 is 4, so 4 plus 0 is 4. And the fourth element on the table is beryllium. 10, we have palladium, which is number 46. Bombarded with an alpha puts the alpha on the left. And we want to emit a proton. Anything emitted goes on the right, so proton on the right. And then to make the math add up, top numbers are to 112, so this needs 111 plus 1. Bottom adds up to 48 so far, so we need 47 plus 1. 47 is silver, Ag. 11, tritium is prepared, so that's going to put tritium on the right if tritium is prepared. We're bombarding lithium-6, so lithium's on the left with a neutron, so the neutron is also on the left. Lithium's number 3. To make the math add up, there must be another item here. On the left, 6 plus 1 is 7, and 3 plus 4 will make my 7. On the left, 3 and 0 is 3, so 1 and 2 makes 3. And then we must have helium is number 2. 12, we have nickel 58, so we look up nickel on the table. The table will say 28th element. Bombarded with a proton, so we'll do the proton abbreviation on the left. Anything that's bombarding is on the left, anything emitted is on the right. Alpha particle is emitted, so that's on the right. And to make the math add up, 58 plus 1 is 59, so 4 plus 55 to make 59. 28 and 1 is 29, so 2 and 27 would be 29, and 27 on the periodic table is cobalt. And then we switch problem types. Anything that involves half-lives from 13 down, I would suggest making 2 columns. Label one by the word start, and then count by whatever the half-life is. For number 13 and 14 and 15, the half-lives are 12 hours. So we want to count 12, 24, 36, just count by 12s. For number 13, it tells you there's 24 grams now. So what we're going to want to do is just keep cutting that in half. So we count up by the half-life number. This column we're just going to divide by 2. So the next checkpoint, cut in half, there'd be 12 grams. Then there'd be 6. Then there'd be 3. We set out to know in 36 hours how much there would be, and it is 3. To do the significant digits right, we like 3 digits, so 3.00 grams would do the trick. 14 is just a continuation of that same problem. We want to figure out how much there will be in 3 days. 3 days times 24 hours in a day, I just need to extend out to the 72-hour mark. So keep counting by 12s to 48, to 60, to 72. So if I cut in half again, 1.5, cut in half again, 0.75, cut in half again, 0.375, and that'll be the second of those answers, and that naturally had the 3 digits on its own, 0.375 grams. 15, we can continue to work that same scheme because we're still doing about the same thing here. If there's 24 grams now, I asked how many hours will it be before there's 3 grams? Well, 3 grams, 36 hours. We already knew that from the math, we already did it. So I'm going to go 36.0 to have a third digit, hours. And then for the last one, we would need a start over because it's a new problem type. So what we have going on is 72 grams. We're going to start, but I don't know what to count by here because we don't know the half-life. We're trying to figure out the half-life. So I'm just going to put something like level 1, and I'm going to cut in half to 36. Level 2, cut in half again to 18. Level 3, cut in half again to 9. Level 4, cut in half again to be 4.5, and I'll stop because the question referenced 4.5 grams. It took us 4 levels, and the story tells you that it was 48 hours total that passed. So if there's 48 total hours passing, and we progress through 4 of these splits, to figure out what any of those splits is, just divide 48 by 4, and that is 12 hours. To do a 3-digit answer, I'll make it a 12.0. That's the way that goes. If you need more help, email me. We'll work it out on Zoom or some other way.